Have you ever found yourself spiraling into endless what-if thoughts when a friend just leaves you on red? Because I've been there, constantly anxious and drained, until I discovered a simple mental shift that literally rewired my nervous system. In this video, I'm going to show you the powerful but easy techniques that will clear your mind and stop your overthinking from controlling your life. To start, let me show you what the overthinking process can look like so that you can spot it and never overthink again. Imagine this. You're at a cafe, it's mid-morning, you're waiting for a friend. You messaged her that you were on your way, but she's left you in red and she hasn't shown up. Your mind starts racing and you start thinking things like, what if I upset her? Did I do something wrong? After 45 minutes, embarrassment sets in and you decide to leave. You try to move on with your day, but the thoughts keep swirling round your head. Studies show that us women are especially prone to overthinking, particularly about past events. This habit often starts in youth and we bring it into adulthood. And it's not because there is something wrong with us. It's actually our minds trying to protect us from past hurts. But sometimes our minds just don't know when to stop. So here's how to spot overthinking early and stop it before it spirals into anxiety. You can use a tool called thought checking. When your mind jumps to what if questions, pause and get curious instead. Try asking yourself, what if this isn't what I think? What's actually happening right now? What's the next small step I can take to feel better? And then go a little bit deeper. Am I reacting to something real or am I just assuming? What are the clear, undeniable facts? You're learning to take back control of your mind, gently, not perfectly. And if you've asked the right questions, but your thoughts are still spiraling, use this. It's a very fast, quick thought check process. Is it true? Is it helpful? And is it happening right now? Because if the answer to any of these is no, let the thought go, let go of the emotions, come back to the here and now. Because it's not just the present moment that hurts when we get into this state, it's the hours, sometimes days or weeks that follow. Overthinking just takes over your whole headspace and drains your energy. So how do you stop giving it that power? The thing is, overthinking takes up so much of your mental space long after or long before an event. In our cafe story, this would look like being back home but still replaying the cafe scene in your mind. You start thinking things like, I can't believe she didn't show up. Did I do something wrong? Is this her way of ending the friendship? And then anxiety takes over. If you've ever experienced a spiral of anxious thoughts, you know how exhausting it is. I lived trapped in this cycle for years, constantly replaying situations, worrying about what other people thought and feeling emotionally drained. Then one day someone said something to me and she told me something that I will just never forget. She said, thoughts are like clouds. They come and they go just like the weather. Imagine trying to hold back the rain or stop the wind. It can't be done. In the same way, your thoughts will always come and go because we are naturally thinking beings. But just like the weather isn't your entire world, your thoughts are not who you are. You can simply notice your thoughts passing by, like clouds drifting across the sky, and you don't have to hold on to them. You don't have to chase or even believe every thought that comes into your mind. You can just notice the thoughts and let them pass with no emotional reaction. Sometimes we overthink because we believe our thoughts are facts, but what if they're not? What if the stories your mind is telling you today won't even hold up tomorrow? Here's how to shift the belief that your thoughts are always real. 200 years ago, doctors were certain that bloodletting and leeches could cure almost everything, from fevers to headaches. It felt completely true at the time. Today, we understand the immune system, infections, the power of evidence-based medicine. Now we look back at that time and we clearly see how mistaken they were and how much they just didn't understand yet. The same principle applies to your thoughts. What feels true today might not feel true tomorrow with new information, some healing, or even just some perspective. Just because a thought feels real right now doesn't mean that it will stay feeling real or true forever. Let it be something that you witness and notice, not something that defines you. So if your thoughts aren't always true, why are they so loud? Why do they feel so urgent? The answer lies in what your mind tries to do for you, even when it hurts you. Overthinking is your mind's attempt to feel safe, replaying past events and imagining every possible outcome, desperately searching for certainty. Your mind believes that relief from anxiety will finally come if it can just solve everything, that you'll finally feel safe. But here's the truth. Most things that we obsess over are beyond our control. What someone else thinks, what the future holds, or what's already happened. The peace that you are craving doesn't come from finding the perfect answer. It comes from accepting now just as it is. Clarity doesn't come from control. It comes from creating space. Sometimes the most powerful action you can take is to just pause, breathe, and allow the moment to be what the moment is right now. When you show kindness and compassion towards yourself, this process becomes so much easier. Beneath every anxious thought is fear, a fear that something terrible might happen. And the best way to soothe fear in yourself is through gentle care and self-love. So what does this look like when you start to let go? When you stop spiraling and you start choosing peace? What would it look like to handle that exact cafe scene again, but this time from a more grounded place? She didn't show up. That's disappointing. I've waited for a while. I'm not sure what's happening. Maybe something unexpected came up. I've got other things to do today, so I'm just going to move on with my day. Maybe there's something going on that I don't know about yet. It's okay that I feel a bit hurt, but I don't need to spiral. One missed coffee does not define our friendship. I'm going to handle this when I have got some more information. Anyway, it was lovely taking some time out for myself. That coffee was a lovely treat today. See how different that feels? It's the exact same scene, just a different mindset. Before you judge yourself for overthinking, I want you to hear this. Because what if the part of you that spirals is not broken at all? What if it's just trying to protect you the only way that it knows how? Because you're not broken. You're processing a situation with the information that you have. Overthinking is not a flaw. It's your nervous system doing its job. It's what happens when your body has known chaos, uncertainty, or punishment for getting stuff wrong in the past. It's the inner child who learned that replaying scenarios or preparing for the worst felt safer than simply being. This isn't weakness, it's actually wisdom. Your nervous system is doing exactly what it was trained to do. But here's what you get to remember now. You're not here to be perfect. You're not here to have a perfect life. You're here to be present, to move gently at your own pace. In fact, let's normalize taking space when we need it. Let's normalize slowing down to make emotional decisions. So how do you begin to shift from spiraling to grounded, especially when your mind's racing? Let me walk you through a practice that breaks this loop even in the most frantic moments. When you notice anxious overthinking kicking in, try this. Name it without judgment. Say something like, this is overthinking. My nervous system is trying to keep me safe. Breathe into your body. Take one deep breath in. And then let it go with a longer exhale, longer than your inhale. This sounds crazy, but touch something near you. A mug, your sleeve, the wall beside you, it doesn't matter what it is. Feel its texture, notice it, and say to yourself, I am here. I am safe. Because these tiny pauses break the loop. They remind your body that you're not in danger. And when the body feels safe, the mind starts to soften too. But why does overthinking feel so intense, even when nothing dangerous is actually happening? Let me show you how your body and your mind are wired to protect you, and how that protective instinct might actually keep you stuck. Because the mind is a looping storyteller. It loves repeating old stories, especially the painful ones. Why? To protect you. Every time you face something uncertain, your brain pulls a similar memory from the past and says, this again, watch out. But your nervous system isn't built for modern stress. It's ancient. Thousands of years ago, your survival depended on scanning for danger. If a saber-toothed tiger appeared, your body flooded with adrenaline. Today, that exact same reaction gets triggered, not by tigers, but by a difficult conversation or by a text that you weren't expecting. Your body tenses, your breath shallows, and you panic. It's not weakness. It's actually a well-practiced response. But here is the key. You're not broken, you are safe, and you can teach your body that safety. Healing does not mean that you will never react. It means that you will know how to come back to yourself with patience and compassion. Before you assume the worst, there's something powerful that I really want to show you. It's the difference between reacting to what you think is true and responding to what's actually real. This could be the shift that saves your relationships and your peace of mind. There's a famous story from Sri Ramana that captures this perfectly. Imagine walking a dim path at dusk. You spot a snake, your heart races, you freeze in fear, your palms sweat, but as you step closer, you realize it's just a rope. Instantly, the fear disappears, and it's funny. Your initial reaction wasn't wrong, it was just based on the wrong information. And that is exactly what overthinking often is. It's reacting to a rope that we believe is a snake. Now imagine this. You've left the cafe, you're spiraling, you feel hurt, you feel abandoned, you feel rejected, but later your friend tells you something. She received some bad news right before meeting you. She wasn't avoiding you, she was overwhelmed and she shut down. But she finally reaches out because she trusts you. You are her safe space. Suddenly your whole story changes. Just like the rope, you realize it was never about you. So what's the real danger of overthinking? Because it's not just anxiety, it's the false stories that we start believing. Stories that rob us of our peace and push away the people that we care about. Let me show you how that plays out. Because most of what we overthink isn't even about us. When we don't have all the information, our minds fill in the blanks. You thought your friend didn't care. You thought that your friend had ghosted you. You thought that you had done something wrong. You built an entire emotional narrative based on silence or absence. But when the truth came out that she was struggling, emotionally overwhelmed and sad, everything shifted. The anger softened. The sadness turned into compassion, and you realized it wasn't personal. It never was. But here's the truth. Overthinking creates pain without proof. It fills gaps without proof. It fills gaps with fear, fear of rejection, fear of being the problem, fear of not being enough. But most of the time, these stories just aren't true. Here's the mindset shift. The story in your head isn't always the story in someone else's heart. Pause, breathe, resist the urge to fill in the gaps. You don't have to have all the answers to a situation right now, and you're allowed to not know. Let that be your peace. We've talked about how overthinking tricks your brain into spirals, but here's something powerful. What if the relief you're chasing isn't in the answer, but is in right now? Let me show you how to reclaim that. Most overthinking lives in the shadows of yesterday or the worries of tomorrow. We replay conversations, we rewrite endings, we predict disasters that haven't even happened yet. And in doing this, we abandon the only thing that's real, which is right now. But if you just pause and gently tune in, you'll notice that this moment, it's safe. There's no crisis here. There's no decisions to force. There's no future to control. Just your breath, your body, your heartbeat. We've talked about thought spirals and how they trap you in worry. But here's something deeper. What if overthinking isn't just a habit, but is a response to past pain? Let me show you what I mean. Overthinking doesn't happen out of nowhere. Often it's your nervous system doing what it was trained to do, protect you. For example, if your emotional needs weren't consistently met as a child, even in small ways, your adult mind might assume that people will leave, especially if they're silent. That cafe moment, it doesn't just sting, it activates something old. Maybe someone walked out on you without any warning. Now, even a small delay in response feels like a door slamming shut. If you grew up in an environment where someone's silence meant danger, it's no wonder that unread messages make your heart race. These are not character flaws. They're protective patterns shaped by experience. The more we identify with them, the more they shape how we see ourselves. And that's when we start asking, am I important enough? Do I even matter? If you've ever questioned your worth or wondered who you are beneath the roles that you play every single day, I made a video that shows you a new way to navigate those thought spirals. I'll link to it at the end of this video, but for right now, let me give you something that you can use immediately to stop the spiral before it even starts. You've probably been told to just change your thoughts, think happier thoughts. But when your nervous system is in panic mode, that is nearly impossible. Here's a truth that not enough of us talk about. Your body sets the tone for your mind. That is why so many wellness gurus teach you about your breath when you're thinking about your mind. Think about the last time you were stuck in anxious overthinking. You had a tight chest, racing heart, sweaty palms. No matter how many affirmations you whisper, nothing works. Why? Because anxious overthinking isn't just a mental habit, it's a full body experience. When your body is in fight or flight, your thoughts will reflect that chaos. That's why calming the body is the first step. If you're prone to anxious overthinking, try these things. Prioritize deep, restful sleep. Take cold showers. Use box breathing to reset. Sit in a sauna. These are not just wellness hacks. These are nervous system resets. And once your body calms down, your thoughts will calm down too. But what about when you're still stuck in the loop? Let me show you what to do when your thoughts just keep pulling you back in. Once your body is calmer, what do you even do with all of those thoughts? Because if you ignore them, they will just keep coming back. This is where this next practice comes in. It's one of the simplest ways to stop spiraling by turning your overthinking into insight. It's a practice that changed everything for me, and it is giving my monkey mind a safe, structured space to do its thing. And here's how it works. Set a timer for 10 minutes. Seriously, that part's really important. Grab a notebook or even the notes app on your phone and write down 3 simple things. The thought, the trigger that caused the thought, the time that the thought happened. No overthinking, just analysing, just observation, just data. When the timer goes off, close the notebook or the app and get on with your day. Over time, this practice builds awareness. This helps you to spot the patterns, the triggers, and any loops that drain your energy. So what do you do when journaling feels too far away, when your brain is spiraling and you need relief right now? This is where your body becomes your anchor. Even in the midst of chaos, there are tools that can bring you back to peace, and they only take a few seconds. When thoughts start spinning and your nervous system feels overloaded, grounding into your senses is one of the fastest ways to shift gears. Here are 2 techniques that I use again and again. The ice cube technique. Hold an ice cube in your hand. Notice the cold, the texture, the way it melts slowly in your palm. This immediate physical sensation pulls your awareness out of your mind and back into your body. The chocolate technique. Place a small piece of chocolate in your mouth, but don't chew it, just let it melt. Notice the flavour and the way the texture changes in your mouth. These practices don't require you to do anything. These practices don't require you to fix anything. They just bring you back into your body, into the now. Presence is always available to you. You just have to return to it. For those of you that resonate with mantras and affirmations, here are some that you can use. All is well and unfolding exactly as it should. I am not my thoughts, I am the one who notices them. I am safe to let go, I don't need to carry this anymore. You don't need to control every thought. Remember that you can choose to respond with a different set of emotions, and you get to decide to take time before you react with any emotion too. As always, guys, have the best day.